Hello students and welcome all of you for the class of economics. Today we are going to have a session of production function, a new topic just after elasticity of demand. Now with respect to this topic, we are going to see, it's a very brief and short topic. Here we are going to see what do you mean by the term production. The contents are respectively. What do you mean by the term production function? What do you mean by the term inputs and output? Then forms of output. Then we will be studying the concept of total output, marginal output, and average output. And finally, we will be studying the relationship between them. And last but not the least, that is law of variable proportion. So these are basically the main contents for this chapter. So starting first of all, the concept of production. What do you mean by the term production? If we talk about the term production, basically it is an economic activity that is concerned with the production of finished output by the use of various factors of production. It means we can say production is basically an economic activity that is concerned with the conversion of input into output. Taking an example, very small and brief example. Suppose हम सब जूस पीते हैं. Whenever we go to any juice vendor shop who is used to sell right juices. So whenever we order a juice, say if we have ordered a juice of orange or pineapple or sugarcane, so what he used to do it, he just take the respective fruits, grind them in mixie, right on its processing machine, and then give us the output in the form of relevant juice. So we can say in the same way, every production firm, factory used to work out. We can say it is basically an economic activity that is concerned with the production of finished output by the use of various factors of production. Now, if we are talking about this production, we just need to see that we have used the term factors of production, we have used the term finished output. So we must let it more clear that this chapter is basically concerned with the units. There will be no issue for the amount in this chapter because we are not going to calculate the amount for any unit or any output, let it be total output or marginal output that I used to come in. Right. Now, the production की बात हम कर रहे हैं. Again we say it's an economic activity that is concerned with the production of finished output by the use or by the combination of various factors of production. These factors of production are basically known as inputs. And this is basically finished product, or we can say finished output. Now, the second term that we are going to say will be production function. If we know what you mean by the term production, we are just going to see the next term, that is production function. It means it is a functional relationship between input and output. It means we can easily establish a relationship between various factors of production that we call it as input and the relevant product or relevant output that is going to be obtained by the use. So it establishes the functional relationship between input and output, and symbolically we can say output of X will be functionally related with inputs. And inputs we can say land, labor, capital and material, or we can say raw material and so on. Preferably in this chapter we are going to study input in these forms only, although there are many other forms that we are going to study in your higher education. Fine. So if we talk about the production function, it's basically the functional relationship between various factors of production that are used in combination with each other in order to obtain a suitable output, or we say finished product. Okay, so we have taken the two terms, that is production and production function. Now we are going to see what do you mean by the term inputs. Okay. So, what do you mean by the term input? Input, also known as factors of production, basically they are the sources, or we can say they are the utmost requirement for the output to be developed or obtained. So we can say an input refers to the factors of production or sources that contribute towards the production of finished output or ready to use commodity, or we can say product. So input are basically the factors of production that, or we can say the sources that contribute towards the production of finished output or ready to use commodity, or we can say product. Whatever the goods that are being available in the market that we used to go out for the purpose of buying them, they all require some sort of processing or production, and the only inputs are there that leads to the contribution towards the development of these output. So with respect to output, as we say, it is basically ready to use or an end use commodity that is required for final consumption. So if we talk about output is a commodity or a good ready to be finally consumed or for end use. Now output is what we purchase, input what the producer purchase. With the help of inputs, they used to carry out the process of production and we obtain output. Right? Now, we are going to see basically, first of all, there are two forms of inputs, or we can say factors of production. Forms of factors of production. So if we talk about input or factor production, they can be divided into two forms. Number one, variable. Number two, fixed. So if we talk about variable factors of production, For example, let's take, say, raw material, labor. It means, as the name suggests, variable means changeable. It means these are the factors, or we say inputs, that vary or changes with the level of production. It means higher the level of production requires higher level of inputs. Okay, let me ask one thing, as I used to ask from the students. For the production of car, how many tires are required for manufacturing? And the answer certainly be of yours will be 4. I'll say no, because we require 5 tires to produce a single car. Stepney हो गया, 4 टायर का उसके होते हैं, need to produce 1 more tire for the purpose of emergency or for the purpose of stepney. So we can say we need to produce 1 car, we need 5 tires. If we need to produce 100 cars, we need 500 tires. If we need to produce 50,000 cars, how many tires? We need to have 250,000 tires into 5. Simple. So we can say the tires are basically working as a variable inputs or variable factors of production. As and when the production of a car rises, the demand for the tire or as raw material will also be increased by the producer. So this is what the variable factor of production is all about. That varies or changes with the level of production. Fixed. Let's take an example of fixed. If we take an example of fixed, let's take land capital. From land and capital we can purchase machinery also. We all are concerned with the fixed values. It means they are the input that does not change with the level of production, or we can say that are held as constant during the course of production. It means there will be no change in the fixed factors of production, they will remain constant since we are taking short run period for production. It means we can say in short run period our factors of production are divided into 2 forms, variable and fixed. Whereas if we concern about the long run, that is over a period of 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, whatsoever it is, then we can say in long run period all the factors of production are variable, all will be changed during the course of the life of the production as well as firm. Okay, so forms of factor production as we have seen are divided into 2 forms, variable and fixed. Now we are coming to forms of output. We are having 3 forms of output that we need to understand, and that are, first of all, total output. Forms of output will be classified into 3 forms. Number 1, total output. Number 2, marginal output. Number 3, average output. Now, in books it has been given as total product, a marginal product and average product. You can take either way. You can take it as total output or total product, marginal output or marginal product, average output or average product. Right? There will be no difference among them. So if we talk about total product, it means it is the sum of all the units produced during a given period of time. It means whatever the volume of car we have produced within 1 year, we constitute the total amount of output or production in terms of car. Right? So again we say total output is basically the sum of all the units produced during a given period of time. If we talk about marginal product, it means it refers to the additional output produced by the employment of additional unit of additional unit of variable factor over fixed factor in the process of production. It means if we talk about marginal, we always said students कि whenever we talk about the word marginal, we always referring to it as additional. It means marginal output is additional output produced by the employment of additional unit of variable factor over fixed factor. So whenever a new output will be produced, new output will be termed as marginal output, and it is basically the sum of marginal output by which we can obtain total product. It means we can say TP is basically the summation of NP, marginal product. Likewise, if we need to obtain marginal product, so marginal product can be obtained from total product by the difference of TP and minus 1, where n will be equal to number of variable factor employed. So this is about how we can derive marginal output and total output. Again we say we can derive marginal output in one other way too. See, MP can also be obtained by the change of total product over change in variable factor too. This is another example by which we can obtain marginal output, marginal product. Right? So we have seen how we can obtain total output and how we can obtain marginal output from each other. Now coming to average output, it is basically output per unit produced as obtained by the proportion of total product over the variable factors employed. It means if we talk about average product, we can derive by the proportion of TP over variable factor. We have derived delta TP or change in total product over change in variable factor will give you marginal product, whereas average product will be obtained by the total product divided by variable factor. So it is basically per unit of output produced, or we can say output per unit produced as obtained by the proportion of total product over variable factors employed in the production process. Okay. So these are basically the terms of total product, marginal product, average product. Now we are going to see the relationship between TP and M. A very important relationship that we just need to understand. If we talk about the relationship of TP and MP, relationship between product and marginal product. See, first of all, we have seen that total product basically the summation of marginal products, whereas marginal product equals to the difference of TP and minus 1, where n is basically the variable factors at this level. Okay, it means that the number of variable factors that we have employed to generate this amount of TP and number of variable factor minus 1 we have employed to generate this amount of TP. That will be specified in the table also. Now, we say when marginal product is rising and positive, then we can say TP is rising. It means, in simple, we can say marginal product is the rate of total product. So, when marginal product is initially rising, it will rise initially, and when it is rise, and when it is positive, TP will be rising. Third relationship will be when marginal product is falling and remains positive, TP will be still rising. Here the difference is only that the TP is rising at an increasing rate, here TP is rising at a decreasing rate or diminishing rate. Again we say when MP becomes 0, we can say TP is maximum. Total product will be at the maximum value, and when MP is negative and falling, then TP is falling, or we can say TP starts falling. Okay, so this is basically the relationship that we have seen. It means if we need to figure out, or we need to see with the help of a table, say variable factor, if we have employed say labor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or let it 7. Okay, so marginal product, total product. So initially it will be say 8, 10, 13, then it will be on decrease mode, 10, 6, 0, 9. Now with the employment of every unit of labor, initially marginal product increases but later on it starts falling with the employment of more and more variable factors that we are going to see in the law of proportion also. So we need to find our total product, that will be 8 for first unit, 8 plus 10, 18 for the second unit, then 31, then 43, then 53, then 59, then 59, then 55. So this is basically the total product that we have received. Now, if we say initially when marginal product was rising and positive, see at this stage it was rising as well as it was positive. The total product was rising. Okay, but TP at this stage starts falling. It means it was still positive but it was diminishing. But our total product still rises. When it becomes 0, we got the maximum value of 59 as total product. And as and when it becomes negative, we say our total product starts falling. Right? So this is basically the relationship that we are seeing. Now with the help of diagram that we can prepare, See the diagram very carefully. That is total product, marginal product, and we can say this here we will be showing variable factor saleable. Now we need to prepare the diagram first of all for marginal product. First of all, you need to make the diagram of marginal product. Freehand diagram will be prepared. Then from this point, just make a line, and that is going to indicate the total product. Now, here you need to make a diagram. Just make it more precisely. This will be TP, and this will be NP. Now, it will signify our relationship with TP and NP. What is going on? When initially the variable factors start being employed, we can say as more and more variable factors are employed over fixed factor, initially total product rising at the rising rate. So we can say at this point, we will be having a point of inflection. Point of inflection tells us about the deviation of the rate from increasing to diminishing, diminishing to negative. So when we were seeing this rate, it means at this point our marginal product is on rise. As and when it was rising, as and when this point arises, it means our point of inflection told us that the marginal product starts falling. This results in increasing TP but at a decreasing rate. Right? And when marginal product touches bottom of zero, it becomes maximum. So this is the maximum point for total product, and as and when marginal product becomes negative, TP starts falling. So we can say we need to produce the freehand diagram. You can take this value also, you can prepare the freehand diagram also. So this is basically the relationship between total product and marginal product that we have seen, and see students. Now when we have seen the relationship of TP and MP, now the next relationship will be coming as average product and marginal product. This relationship of total product and marginal product we can say is depend upon the law of variable proportion that we will see very soon. So we have produced the schedule also, we have produced the graph also for your ease and reference. Now, when we are talking about relationship of average product and marginal product, AP and NP, average product and marginal product, we can say there are 3 points to be noticed very carefully. When AP and NP are rising, we can say NP is more than EP. It means when both average product and marginal product is on the rise initially, marginal product will be more than average product. When AP is maximum, then we can say AP will be equal to 1. It means at that point average product will be equal to marginal product. And when AP and MP means average product and marginal product are in the state of fall, or we can start falling, then NP is less than AP, or we can say average product is more than marginal product. So basically these are the 3 conditions that we have to see, and if we need to produce a graph, we can easily produce it. It means we just need to produce first of all the graph of NP, then we need to produce the graph of AP. If AP never becomes negative, NP will be negative. As when it touches 0, then it becomes negative. So here will be AP and MP, that is Y, X, and then we can say here we have employed variable factor, say labor. So by this we can express the relationship between AP and MP. A small relationship get important that when AP and MP are rising, when both are rising, see MP is more than AP. Here MP is more than AP. When it is being highest, or we can say when it touches like you can take it out. When if you are maximum, we can take. It means both AP will be equal to MP at this point. And when both are falling at this stage, AP will be more than MP. This is basically the relationship that we need to see. Students, you can make the diagram on your own ease, but better whenever you make the diagram, please use pencil and scale, because you cannot erase with the help of your right hand, but you cannot. Okay? Now, moving further, now we have to see the last thing that is you are using a chapter, that is law of variable proportion. That is going to be with you in the next session. Till then, thank you so much students for being in the class. We will be meeting very soon for the law of variable proportion.